This is Mamuni. Thank you so much for being Amar Baba.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to discuss how to solve a trial balance problem. So let's get started. Chalo, shuru kara jak. So let's go through the problem. Prepare a trial balance from the following balances of Mrs. Ghosh as on 31st March 2022. The name of accounts are given here and the amounts are given here. So let's see the first account. Bills receivable. What is the amount? 10,000. What is bills receivable? Bills receivable is a negotiable legal financial instrument consisting of an order in writing addressed by the seller of goods to the buyer of goods, requiring the buyer to pay a certain sum of money at a fixed date in the future. মানেটা কি বিলস রিসিভেবল? যদি তুমি কোনো কাস্টমারকে গুডস বিক্রি করো অন ক্রেডিট, সেটা কবে কাস্টমার পেমেন্টটা করবে সেটা একটা লিগাল ডকুমেন্টে কাস্টমারের সিগনেচার থাকবে যে আমি 3 months পর বা 2 months পরে এই পেমেন্টটা করব। ইট অ্যাক্টস অ্যাজ আ প্রুফ অফ ডেট। এটা একটা প্রুফের কাজ করে। কাস্টমার 3 months পর 2 months পর বা 1 month পরে পেমেন্টটা করবে। ও গুডসটা ক্রেডিটে কিনেছে, পেমেন্টটা 1 month পরে করতে পারে, 2 months পরে করতে পারে, 15 days পরে করতে পারে, 3 months পরে করতে পারে। ইটস এ লিগাল ডকুমেন্ট। যদি কাস্টমার না পেমেন্ট করে তাহলে কাস্টমারের এগেনস্টে লিগাল অ্যাকশন নেওয়া যাবে। আন্ডারস্টুড? তো বিলস রিসিভেবল ইজ অ্যান অ্যাসেট। সো বিলস রিসিভেবল 10,000. So let's write bills receivable. Bills receivable 10,000. Bills receivable is a debit balance, and that is the reason we have written 10,000 in the debit column. But why bills receivable is a debit balance? Because bills receivable comes under personal account. According to personal account, the receiver of the benefit is debit. So bills receivable will be debited. Now let's see the next account. The next account is bills payable 5,000. Let's write bills payable. $5,000. Bills payable is a credit balance, and that is the reason we have written 5,000 in the credit column. But what is bills payable? Bills payable is a legal instrument document that a certain amount of money owed by a customer to its seller will be paid at a fixed date in the future. Understood? And it is signed by the buyer. Okay? It's a proof. Bills payable is a credit balance because bills payable falls under personal account. According to personal account, the giver of the benefit is credit. So bills payable will be credited. Understood? So let's see the next account. The next account is bank overdraft. 12,000. Bank overdraft. Bank overdraft is a credit balance. So we'll write 12,000 in the credit column. What is bank overdraft? Bank overdraft is a loan provided by a bank that allows a customer to pay expenses or withdraw money when his account is even zero. Bank overdraft is a kind of loan provided by a bank. তোমার অ্যাকাউন্টে কাস্টমারের অ্যাকাউন্টে যদি জিরো ব্যালেন্সও থাকে তাহলেও ব্যাংক ওকে ফ্যাসিলিটি দিচ্ছে যে ওর মানি উইথড্র করতে পারে যতই ওর অ্যাকাউন্টে জিরো ব্যালেন্স থাক। দিস ইজ আ ফ্যাসিলিটি or a loan provided by the bank. So bank overdraft comes under personal account. So according to personal account, the giver of the benefit is credit. So bank overdraft will be credited. Understood? Let's see the next account. The next account is interest on overdraft, 1,500. Interest on overdraft. Interest on overdraft is a debit balance. That is the reason we're writing 1,500 in the debit column. But what is interest on overdraft? Interest on overdraft is an expense for the business. It falls under nominal account. According to nominal account, all losses and expenses debit. So interest on overdraft will be debited. Actually, when bank provides a loan as bank overdraft for the customer has to pay interest on overdraft. That is a kind of interest. যেহেতু ব্যাংক ওভারড্রাফট ফ্যাসিলিটিটা ব্যাংক দিচ্ছে কাস্টমারকে, তার জন্য কিছু ইন্টারেস্ট চার্জ করছে, সেটাই হলো ইন্টারেস্ট অন ওভারড্রাফট. দিস ইজ অ্যান এক্সপেন্স ফর দ্য বিজনেস. আন্ডারস্টুড? সো লেটস সি দ্য নেক্সট অ্যাকাউন্ট. Closing stock 7,500. Closing stock will not appear in the trial balance. Why? Because closing stock is the balance of unsold goods that are remaining from the purchases made. Closing stock কি? Closing stock হচ্ছে purchase যা করা হয়েছে সেই accounting period. This unsold goods is actually a part of the purchases. So আমি already purchases record করে দিয়েছি trial balance. Suppose the proprietor purchased 40,000 goods and he has sold 32,500 goods. So remaining balance কি আছে? 7,500 sell হয়নি. So 7,500 actually is a part of purchase which has not been sold. তো সেই 7,500 হলো ক্লোজিং স্টক. অ্যাট দ্য এন্ড অফ দ্য ইয়ার এটা ক্লোজিং স্টক হিসেবে আমরা দেখতে পাই. অ্যাকচুয়ালি ক্লোজিং স্টক ইজ আ পার্ট অফ পারচেজেস. 40,000 থেকে 32,500 সেল হয়ে গেছে. বাট ইফ ইউ ডিডাক্ট 40,000 মাইনাস 32,500, তাহলে 7,500 সেল হয়নি, সেটা ক্লোজিং স্টক. তো সেইটা কি ক্লোজিং স্টক? অ্যাকচুয়ালি কি ক্লোজিং স্টক is the balance of unsold goods. That means closing stock is a part of purchases. So আমি যদি আবার closing stock হিসেবে 7,500 লিখি, that means we'll be writing twice because purchases এ আমি already 40,000 লিখেছি, সেখানে 7,500 included. So if I write again, the effect will be double. Closing stock will not appear in the trial balance. Instead, we'll write a short note below the trial balance. কি লিখবো আমরা? নোট. Closing stock will not appear in the trial balance because it has not yet been brought into account. Okay? So closing stock will not appear in the trial balance. Instead, you'll have to write a short note. Understood? This is the way. So let's see the next account. The next account is insurance 500. Let's write insurance 500. Insurance is a debit balance, and that is the reason we've written 500 in the debit column. Insurance is a debit balance because insurance comes under nominal account. According to nominal account, all losses and expenses debit. Insurance is an expense for the business, so insurance account will be debited. Let's see the next account. Wages and salaries 3,000. Let's write wages and salaries. 3,000. Wages and salaries is a debit balance. That is the reason we have written in the debit column. But why wages and salaries is a debit balance? Because wages and salaries falls under nominal account. According to nominal account, all losses and expenses debit. Here, wages and salaries paid. So it's an expense for the business. So wages and salaries will be debited. Understood? আমি আগেই বলে দিচ্ছি, পেড যদি ওয়ার্ডটা না থাকে, পেড অর রিসিভড, ইট মিনস পেড. রিসিভড হলে মেনশন করতো. যখন ওরা দে হ্যাভ নট মেনশন, ইটস উইল অলওয়েজ অ্যাজিউম অ্যাজ পেড. হ্যাড ইট বিন রিসিভড, দে উড হ্যাভ মেনশনড. সিন্স ওরা মেনশন করেনি, তার মানেই এটা পেড. Understood? Will always assume as paid if nothing has been mentioned. So wages and salaries paid means it's an expense for the business. According to nominal account, all losses and expenses debit, so wages and salaries will be debited. Let's see the next account. Cash 75,000. Let's write cash. Cash is a debit balance. That is the reason we're writing 75,000 in the debit column. Why cash is a debit balance? Because cash falls under real account. According to real account, what comes in is debit. From the business point of view, cash is coming into the business. So cash account will be debited. So let's see the next account. Capital account 50,000. Let's write capital 50,000. Capital is a credit balance. That is the reason we have written 50,000 in the credit column. But why capital is a credit balance? Because capital falls under personal account. According to personal account, the giver of the benefit is credit. Here, the proprietor is the giver of capital. So, capital account will be credited. Understood? So, let's see the next account. Creditors. How much? 13,000. Let's write creditors. Creditors is a credit balance. That is the reason we have written 13,000 in the credit column. But why creditors is a credit balance? Because creditors falls under personal account. According to personal account, the giver of the benefit is credit. So, creditors will be credited. Understood? Let's see the next account. Sales account 25,000. Let's write sales. Sales is a credit balance. That is the reason we are writing 25,000 in the credit column. Why sales is a credit balance? Because sales falls under real account as well as nominal account. According to real account, what goes out is credit. Here, when goods are sold, goods go out from the business. So, sales account will be credited. According to nominal account, all incomes and gains credit. Here, when goods are sold, money comes in. So, sale is an income for the business. So, sales account will be credited. Let's see the last account. Purchases account 15,000. Let's write purchases. Purchases is a debit balance 15,000. That is the reason we are writing 15,000 in the debit column. But why purchases is a debit balance? Purchases falls under real account as well as nominal account. According to real account, what comes in is debit. Here, when goods are purchased, goods comes into the business. So, purchases account will be debited. According to nominal account, when goods are purchased, money goes out. So, purchases is an expense for the business. According to nominal account, all losses and expenses debit. Since purchases is an expense for the business, purchases account will be debited according to nominal account as well as according to real account. Okay. So, now let's calculate the total of debit column and the total of credit column as well. Okay. The total of debit column is 1,05,000 and the total of credit column is 1,05,000. So, the total of debit column is equal to the total of credit column. So, the trial balance did tally. Okay. I hope you understood. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your precious time. I sincerely hope this was helpful. And before I fade out, please remember, if you wish good things for others and if you do good for others, good things will always come back to you in an unexpected ways. Bye-bye. Take care. Stay safe and stay blessed always.